I have a brand new workshop guide for you guys this month. I used the Beach Time Scrapbooking Workshop Kit from Stampin Up. So the exclusive papers, the die cuts, stickers, all those great things, but I reworked the layouts to give you something totally fresh. These are all going to be summery, beachy, tropical, and make sure you stick around to see number 3 because it is my favorite out of all of them. In the kit, there are exclusive die cuts, there's stickers, there's exclusive papers, and I have used all of these to help bring this workshop to life. I've also added some die cut pieces and things of my own to just take it up to the next level. I've added a few smaller details like ripping here and along this side, over here at the bottom as well, continuing it along this piece and over on this end. I love the look of ripped paper on like beachy layouts. These can definitely be awesome beach pages, but if you don't have beach photos, you could definitely swap out the title and just do summer layouts. I have some San Diego pictures that I think would go really perfectly on these layouts. And the custom die cuts and things come in really handy for adding extra layers. I used the Pearls of Beauty embellishments to add a little extra shine. I've almost used up this whole pack, but I used some of the white and the brown on this one. And they're kind of like opalescent. They reflect some of the colors around them. And of course, some things are popped up on dimensionals while other things are just flat and layered together. I like my pages fairly flat these days because I'm trying to squeeze as many pages as I can into my albums because I'm just scrapbooking so much. But if you like more dimension, definitely add it wherever you like. I have this one popped up, and I think that's it for this page. It's pretty flat overall. And the palm trees are coming from the Boardwalk Fun Dies. There is a stamp that goes along with this as well. So if you wanted more options for palm trees and you want to stamp some, that is a good option. But I stuck just with the die set and used the die cut ones. I love how there's 2 different heights, so you can really layer them together. And if you see the 2 shades of green, that's because I used 2-tone cardstock. So you get the true color and then the lighter version here. And when I'm building layouts like this, I always like to get my bigger pieces down first, starting with the background and then laying down these big blocks and then tucking in the smaller bits as you go and layering it up kind of back to front. Let's have a look at the second layout. Now, my goal with this workshop was to add some extra embellishment, some extra detail, but also keep it simple enough that it's not going to take you days to put it together. So I'm trying to find that balance where it's unique, it's a little bit different twist, but you're not spending hours and hours on like creating the embellishments, for instance. So here I have added some extra palm trees. This is actually a specialty printed paper that comes in the kit. This one is one of the die cuts that comes, and then all these smaller ones are that same palm tree die, and I'm using the 2-tone cardstock again, just in a different color to add some variation as I'm layering them together. Out of this set too, there's this fun little like arrow shape. I've used that a couple times on here. There are some that are stickers that are from the collection. And then on this one, you're also seeing these palm leaves come in, and that is from the Rolling Waves dies. This is a brand new set that just launched in the March online exclusives, and that's where that leaf is coming from. Again, we have lots of paper layering going on here, which makes it interesting to look at. We got lots of color going on, but it should be faster and easier for you to put together. At the end of the day, we always want our photos to still be the star of the show. But I did want to add a little extra detail up here at the tops. It was looking a little barren, and I figured, you know what? The best thing we can do is to add some texture stamping. So I brought in Swirled designs, and this one is a fun one. Lots of these textures would actually go really great on these pages. I used this one here as well as this little splatter image, and I layered them together. I'll show you how I did that in just a moment. It made for a very fun kind of background, and it's not super busy, so it's still kind of in the background, but definitely adds some interest to what would otherwise be like a very plain part of the layout. It's really trying to find the balance between like busy enough but not too busy, right? I have these popped up on dimensionals. Everything else is flat, and some of these are just layered over the photo mats, but they're not popped up at all. Same over here, we have stickers mixed with die cuts. I love these kits and how they give you so many extra pieces to create layouts with. It really makes it easier. Now, if you'd like to get my guide so you know how to cut your paper, I have the cutting diagrams, photos, some tips and tricks in there. Everything you need to be able to pull this together, as well as the supply list. If you're in Canada, you can place an $80 order before tax and shipping on my Stampin' Up website during the month of March, and you can get this guide for free. If you join my Crafty Hearts team, you can get all my guides and my friend Julie Carrier's guides for free. It's a really nice perk that we like to offer our teams. And if you are not in Canada, so neither one of those things apply to you, you can actually click the link that's down in the description box, click the little more button right below the title on this video, and it'll drop down, and there's a link there to purchase the guide through PayPal, and I will send that in an email. Allow at least 24 hours for delivery because I am doing it manually at this point. Hopefully soon I will have a website that auto sends the guides to you guys, but right now it's just me sending out the emails, so please be patient with me. Now let's clear this off and I'll show you how I did this little section here. So first off, when you're getting ready to do this stamping, I would recommend that you have your paper strips put down. So like this piece here, these pieces here, you can have all of that stuff on your page. You just won't want to put on any of your die cuts, any of this part yet. But it's helpful to have this one here because then you know where to start your stamping. If you're worried about accidentally stamping on there, you can cover it with a piece of printer paper, or you can just lay this on and then move it out of the way as you're stamping. But this is what's going to give you a good idea of where to start and how far to take your stamping over. Now, if you take it too far, not a big deal because it's going to be covered both by the paper and your journaling box here, so no worries if you go too far, but you don't want to end up with a gap right here. So once you have that figured out of where you're going to start, I'm using Pool Party ink, and I'm using the little like slashes stamp first. So I like to start right at the edge and then work my way over. It's okay if they overlap a little bit. It's not a problem at all. It's probably better than leaving a gap by accident. And then I also went up a little bit, and you can stamp it twice so you get a little bit lighter version. This is not meant to be perfect or specific, and even if it looks a little weird right now, it's going to fade as it dries a little bit. So see those dark spots right now? You might be like, ooh, I don't really like that. In the finished one, that's kind of where it was darker, where I had overlapped, and you probably didn't really notice that until I pointed it out. So it's not the end of the world. It's totally fine. Now I'm going to take the splatter stamp. I love this splatter stamp. I use it for all kinds of things. And then I'm going to start just overlapping the edge of where we stamped. And I'm going to stamp 2 or 3 times, basically until there's no more ink on my splatters. So I'm going to keep the darker ones down here where it's darker. And then I will go up. And feel free to rotate your stamp. Sometimes I forget to do that. And, you know, they all end up going the same direction. But when you do that and it just kind of fades off, that's the look that I love. I still want some white around the top, but I love how it just kind of fades off into nothing, and it looks very natural. Kind of looks like water spots or something like that, and I think that adds just enough detail so that we don't have like a boring corner over here, but also it's not competing with the rest of the layout. Here is layout number 3. And I've basically created like a beach scene with the ocean coming in, and then we have this like white foamy bubbles along the edge, and then we hit the sand over here. I was totally inspired by when you go to the website to purchase the Rolling Waves dies, the card that they show has like this little vignette like this with the water coming in and this little towel, and it just totally captured my imagination. And I was like, what if I turn that into a scrapbook page? So then I started playing and figuring out how to do that. And this beautiful wave pattern is one of the exclusive papers that comes in the workshop kit. So that alone makes it worth getting because it's the perfect companion to a page like this. So in this die set, there are actually like several different layers with the water and like the little bubbles and stuff. I used this one because I felt like it was a happy medium between like this one that has the bubbly edge and then this one that has that kind of lacy look to it. So I used that one, I cut it from white, and I just put several of them along this ripped edge. Now remember, I do have my pattern paper is actually ripped, and I wanted that white edge to show. And anytime you want a edge to show like that, when you're ripping, rip towards yourself, and that will expose the white core of the paper. If you're ripping away, which to me feels really awkward because I've been ripping white core paper for many years, and so this is like the only way my fingers can actually do it, but just make sure you rip towards yourself to expose that white core. It's another bonus when it comes to printed paper and also the two-tone cardstock. You can rip solid core cardstock too, but it just doesn't have quite the same effect. Now let's have a look closer at the sand here. And this might look familiar because I did the same technique as I just showed you with the splatter stamp. So I used the same splatter stamp. This time I used crumb cake, and I stamped in like the full strength crumb cake, and then I stamped off as it got lighter and lighter. So that's why we have some that are very faded looking. I did stamp off on scrap paper sometimes because I didn't want too much of the dark little splatters. Now, if you have this set, this goes with the Rolling Waves. So this is the stamp set. There is a little sand stamp, but I wasn't going to use anything else on this set. So I didn't want to use it for just that one in case, you know, you don't already have it. So I went ahead with the splatter stamp, but you could definitely use that sand stamp if you have it, or another splatter stamp that you have in your collection. And then all these little seashells that you see around here, those are cut out from the dark side of the crumb cake cardstock. This piece here is the light side of the crumb cake cardstock. And these are all from this die here. I absolutely love these tiny little shells. I'm always looking for sets that I don't own anything else like it, and this is one of those. I don't have anything like most of the dies in this set, including the little umbrellas, which are super cute. And I use them not only for my cluster down here, but I also have used them in my other clusters just as like a little decorative element to add a pop of color. And the ones on here, I actually put this one down flat and this one's popped up. And to get this one here, so this is what you get when you cut those two dies. The one with concentric rings comes like that when you cut it. So you got all your 4 layers there. And now this one is one solid piece. So I cut a few of these in white, and those are the bases for all of my umbrellas. I did them all in white. You could use colors too if you want to. They're not going to show. So then once I had that, then I cut this one out of several colors, and then I just layered them together. They fit perfectly over top of that solid one. And when you have different colors, then you can like alternate the different colors and just fit them together like a little puzzle. Okay, so that's how these ones came together, just puzzle piece together. And then for this one, I actually cut this solid one out twice. So out of the 2 different colors. And then I just cut them apart with scissors. All of these segments are exactly the same. So you don't have to keep track of like, oh, this one goes there and that one goes there. They're all the same size. So you can just piece them in on top of a solid one and end up with this look here. I just think that's so much fun. I love that it's like an aerial view looking down at the beach, or just like a little color element that is in my cluster. You can see the pearls of beauty. I used the white ones on this page, and they're just so pretty. I thought they looked like water bubbles, so that's why I used the white ones over here. These are stickers from the sticker sheet, and this little piece of paper here, it is actually from this gorgeous rainbow paper. I used almost the entire sheet. This is an exclusive piece, so you can see it has a white backside because the exclusive papers that come in the kit are single-sided. And so I use this thing to its max, and I'm sort of hoarding this last strip. I love rainbow paper. It is just something that, I don't know, I'm always attracted to it. I always want to use it. It helps that I have a little kid who wears lots of bright colors that usually match. You know, if you have a whole rainbow, usually the paper is going to match whatever she's wearing. It's a very easy paper for me to use, but I ended up using the yellow end here. And if you pay attention in the cutting guide to the way the paper is showing, I actually have paper overlaid in some of the cutting diagrams so you can see exactly where to cut the paper from. I intentionally cut it from this part of the paper so that it matches. If you want to change up the colors, you can cut from a different portion of the paper and bring in some different colors down here. Now, since I'm hoarding that paper, I'm not going to cut it, but I'll show you. To do the little fringing, all I did was take my regular scissors. I'm going to rest them on my finger here underneath, and I'm just going to make a bunch of little snips as closely together as I can get and try and make them about the same length. And that's all there is to it. Now, if you have like fringing scissors or something, I never went down that road when they were really popular and people were buying like fringing scissors. But if you have those, that would work really great too. But it's a very small piece and it was easy to just cut the fringe. Then you can kind of ruffle it up a little bit if you want so that you see the dimension when it's flat down on your page. My journaling pieces, I did something a little bit different on this one. I cut out 2 of the tickets from this set as my journaling. Lots of times when we have beach photos, I don't have a ton to say. I'm scrapbooking them because the memories of that day, it was so much fun. I have some super cute photos. And so I imagine when I go to put photos on here, I'm not going to have like a giant story. So this should be enough space. Now, if that is not enough space for you, you could easily journal right onto this pattern paper actually, over here, over there. You could also add journaling on top of a photo. Lots of times with beach photos, you have like expanses of water or sand, and you could digitally put your journaling onto that part of your photo to get more of the story in. I hope you guys feel inspired after seeing how I have redesigned this kit. And if you'd like to get your hands on this guide to help you pull the pages together super fast and easy, make sure to check out all the information down in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video.